morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Berlant from CAL FIRE, joined by my partner here,
Lynn Tolmashoff.
And today we're welcoming you to a special video report on holiday cooking safety. We know many of you are getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday, so we wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about a little bit dangers that lurk this holiday season. So Lynn, typically this time of year we see an increase in the number of fires, home fires, correct?
Yeah, according to the NFPA standards, there's about a 230% increase over the daily average for the number of fires in the home on Thanksgiving Day alone.
And a lot of people don't realize that it's actually the kitchen where most home fires actually start. And that's why with these holidays, with everybody cooking great meals like turkeys, you take those extra steps because cooking fires is one of the leading causes of home fire. So we have a beautiful kitchen here at Sagent Marketing in Sacramento, and we want to talk a few about the examples that people should remember when you're making those holiday seasons. So Lynn, why don't you walk through some of these steps here, what's important?
Absolutely. Just some simple things to start with. Over here in the corner, you see the paper towels you've got. This is a gas stove, so this actually produces a flame out of its burners. If there's a paper towel hanging down there, or even just a regular kitchen towel, that is an absolute hazard. Can easily catch fire and go up very quickly and possibly ignite the rest of the kitchen.
So the paper towels, the cloth, they need to be kept somewhat far away, not just so they don't catch on fire, but somebody could knock them down or something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a very busy kitchen going on this time of the year. There's so much cooking, there's so many people around. You just want to be a little bit more cautious and pay more attention to what you're doing on this day.
Okay, what's next?
So the next thing we're going to have is over here we have a pot. Say you get a grease fire, something like that. What you need to do, you have your pot going.
We'll bring it to the front here.
There we go. Perfect. And so you see a flame start up. You want to get that out as quickly as possible. The easiest route, just put the lid right on top of it. Do it very careful, try not to burn yourself. Don't have a mitt or a towel in your hand and possibly catch that on fire. Just throw the lid on there, it'll go out, turn the burner off, and leave it set for a few minutes. It's going to be very, very hot because it's had open flame.
Now Lynn, a lot of people, the automatic response is if this starts to flare up and there's some fire, they're going to want to throw hot water on it. But if this is filled with grease, why is that such a bad idea?
Yeah, exactly. You throw water on it, as soon as that water hits that grease, it's going to splatter. It's just an automatic reaction, and then it's going to end up across your stovetop, possibly on the walls of the kitchen, the cabinets, igniting that also possibly on fire.
Okay, so you just take the top, put it on, turn the burner off, give it a few minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, but if you do have a fire, let's say it catches something, ignites. What do you want to make sure you have nearby? Obviously, we've got one right here.
Yeah, we've got a couple here, actually. We've got a full-size fire extinguisher here. This one's kind of a larger one, maybe a little bit more of a commercial use, but here's a great one for the home. These are made specifically for the home. It's a nice little compact fire extinguisher. You just pop the top off, and it sprays just like any other fire extinguisher. Spray it directly on the flames to get it out.
So when it comes to fire extinguishers, they're very easy to use. Not only do they have some instructions on them and tell you the type of fires that they can fight, so this one is an ABC. So it can not only do trash, wood, paper, liquids, but also electrical. So this can do it all.
Yes.
But you need to remember the PASS acronym when it comes to using an extinguisher. It's very easy to use. The first one is pull this lever right here out, pull the pin out. That way the fire extinguisher can actually be used. Then you want to aim it right where the fire is. Then you want to squeeze the handle, and then you're going to give it a sweeping motion back and forth. And that pass, pull, again, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Very easy to remember, right? So how close should this be to your stovetop and your oven?
Make sure these are mounted no further than 10 feet away. And the best thing you want to do is have it where you're not going to have to cross in front of the fire to get to it. So don't mount it too close to your stove or the oven. Have it kind of on a wall away where it's easy just to grab.
So it's also very important to, especially if you have small children. Let's talk a little bit about that. A lot of times we put the pot out here, using the handle, stirring up. What's wrong with what I'm doing?
You've got your handle pointing directly out. You have a toddler, somebody very young could easily just reach up, grab that pot handle, and pull it down on top of themselves. May not necessarily cause a fire, but it could severely burn the child or anybody else in the area.
So this handle should be pointed in, or even better, if you can, point it to the back, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, right here, we've got a lot of things going on here. And so a lot of times, and this is why we see so many more fires during the holiday season, is we're cooking lots of things all at once. So the likelihood of getting distracted is very possible. What though, when you're cooking, what's an important step for people as far as where they should be in the home when they're cooking items, especially when they're frying?
Yeah, absolutely. Never ever leave your kitchen when you're cooking. If you're the one that's doing all the cooking, doing the big jobs, remain in the kitchen. That's your duty. Keep an eye on everything. Make sure nothing boils over, especially any kind of grease. And then just keep an eye on your cooking. Make sure things aren't drying out in the pot. You know, you've let something boil down, that could catch fire. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Don't leave things unattended.
Yeah, it's really easy to remember. Keep an eye on what you fry. So when you're frying something, you should always be in and around the stovetop itself. But so let's say that you're cooking and you don't have an apron, and we'll use Ann here to come show us. We're ready to put take the pies out of the oven, put the turkey into the oven. So Ann's going to demonstrate this for us. She's got her pot holders, so she's very safe. She's bending over to get those pies out, but Lynn, what's wrong with this shot here?
You know, Anna is dressed for the holiday. She's looking great for the holiday. Unfortunately, she's got a scarf on. That could actually potentially be a fire hazard if you're leaning over a stove, especially a gas stove in particular. So take that off. And if you have an apron on, make sure it's tied very tightly so nothing's hanging. So very similar situation. And there you go. Now you can just easily grab things out. You don't have to worry about getting caught up in it or it potentially touching an open flame.
So the clothes you wear, very important. No loose clothing, scarves, sweatshirts, other things like that.
Exactly.
Apron nice and tight. So beautiful, Ann. This will be ready in 3 hours?
You bet.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. We'll give you that back. So we've kind of covered some of the basics. You know, a lot of times people get, they've got their kids around, especially in the holidays. What's some easy, an easy tip to keep kids away from this area? Well, let's show, if we can zoom down in here the kid-free zone. Take some tape. This is just basic tape right here. Painter's tape comes in blue, green, other colorful items, and actually put it down on the floor. Create a box at least 3 feet around the stove and oven, and tell the kids this is a kid-free zone. And again, you can see the tape that we put on the floor. Make sure that the kids stay away from this area.
Right. And also have other adults help you to keep an eye on the kids, keep them out of the kitchen.
Yeah, this really should be a no-kid zone for sure the whole time. A lot of people have pets though, and I don't know about you, but my cat always jumps up onto the countertops. We go back to our paper towels, and the paper towels, if they're not set correctly, we've got it right here. The cat jumps up here, knocks this down. That's a problem as well. So it's not just small kids, but also small pets.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, your kitchen is so busy this time of the year. You're cooking so many different things in so many different ways. There's so much potential for things to just accidentally happen, and that's usually how fires start in the home.
Yeah.
So we want you to prevent that issue.
Now, Lynn, a lot of people like to fry their turkeys, but there's dangers with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The deep fried turkeys, they're very, very popular. They have been for the past few years. The one thing you want to remember, you absolutely do not use a turkey fryer in the home. Do it outside. If you're going to do it outside, when you do it, make sure it's on a concrete surface or a dirt surface. Keep it away from the house. Keep it away from anything else flammable. A wood pile, magazines you've got stacked out, outside the garage, or a wood fence even. So keep it away from anything flammable. And when you do it, make sure there's only one person doing it. Keep everybody away from it. Keep a nice buffer around that, because as soon as you drop that turkey, there's so much moisture in it, and that grease is so hot, it'll boil up, and it could potentially flare up and even catch fire. So you have to be very, very careful with it.
And that's why making sure you read the instructions very closely, so that you're only putting the correct amount of oil inside the fryer itself, so that when you do place that turkey in there, slowly place it in, it doesn't flare up, it doesn't burn you. We have a great video on our website at fire.ca.gov, and that's a great place where you can get some of the tips we just went over, even some more tips about holiday cooking, but also there's a great video that shows you what happens when your turkey fryer has too much oil in it and you put it in too quickly, how quickly that can flare up, severely burn someone. So this Thanksgiving, obviously, in this holiday, want to make sure everybody is burn-free, but also fire-free. So have your smoke alarm, make sure it's working, test those batteries, make sure you have that fire extinguisher, and again, create a kid-free zone around this stove. So that's the latest on this special report on holiday cooking safety. I'm Daniel Berlant.
I'm Lynn Tolmachok.
Thanks for joining us. And again, check out our website at fire.ca.gov for even more tips. Thanks again. We should have a little.
We should.